Had no plans on being here tonight, but my spirit guides felt someone needed to hear a message from me, or from them, I should say. So they use me sometimes to bring through messages for people I don't even know who don't ask me to read for them, but spirit, for whatever reason, feels I'm the one that's supposed to deliver the message. So I don't know who this is for. So, you know, take it. If it, resonates, then, for you, if any messages, part of it resonate, all of it, I don't know. Um, but whoever it is, I hope this message finds you. I've been up for over 24 hours straight working. I've recorded over, I think, 25 videos today, recordings. And when I got to the last one, thinking I was done, I was going to shut down for the night. I don't know where spirit hits me with this song. And I already know, more than likely, this is something that spirit wanted me to do a reading on, because that's how they communicate with me sometimes. And so I asked them to make it clear. And they made it clear that I'm supposed to do a reading around this song. So, I feel like whoever this is, it makes me feel that you recently have separated, broken up from your significant other. I feel like this was a marriage. Um, and I don't feel like this was something that ended just, because there was like any kind of cheating going on. I get more of the feeling like this was a relationship where y'all just grew apart. And y'all just come to the realization that, it's neither one of y'all are happy, so now y'all are separating. I still feel like there's love there between y'all, but it's not, the type of love anymore that would, sustain or hold, or you would think or hope to have, in order to be married to somebody. But I still feel like, y'all care deeply about each other still, and still want the best for each other. So, but even knowing that, apparently spirit, is like showing me that you're struggling with this, understandably so. No matter how a relationship ends, especially a marriage, it's difficult and it hurts. And I, and I can understand that. I can, um, kind of relate to it. So I hope, that whatever messages spirit brings through for you, that it brings you some kind of healing, comfort, right now. It's not like I'm going to have the right words that's going to say anything to make it better, to make that pain less. And I know that. But maybe, there's something in here that might, help you more than maybe it would have had I not come on here. And then, like I said, that would be the only reason why spirits brought me on here to do this. So, and whenever spirit calls me, I come. So bear with me. Like I said, I've been up for 28 hours straight. So I'm exhausted, y'all. But I'm gonna try my best to get through this. Bring through as many messages as I can before I shut down for the night. So again, take this. It's a collective reading. If it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, maybe it'll speak to you down the road. All right, spirit. Where do you want me to start? There's so many decks piled everywhere that okay, well, let me find it. Wait, oh, it's right here. All right. Spirit, show me. I want y'all to know the song that came through that they put in my head is by an artist. Her name is Leona Lewis, I think is how you pronounce her name. And the song is called Better in Time. So maybe that song will speak to you. Um, I don't know again. I don't know who this is for. I'm just following my spirit guide's orders here. So, all right, spirit, show me. Let's start with recent past spirit. Show me recent past spirit pertaining to this song, whoever this is for. Better in Time. Okay, you can't give me all them cards, spirit, but okay, whatever. Yeah, okay. It is a commitment. I don't have the wedding card out here, but you can see it's showing a married couple here and it's commitment. And I feel like y'all did try and give it a go, trying to work on to salvage your marriage, see if y'all can, maybe find your way back to each other. Because I have reconciliation here. And this explains that because the telepathic energy I picked up from this song. So there's a strong energy between you and this person. And I'm a telepath. That's one of my psychic gifts. So I feel like there's times where you pick up their thoughts and vice versa. Whether you recognize it or not, maybe your person doesn't recognize it, or maybe they don't believe in that, but I feel like one of y'all are very much aware that you can pick up each other's thoughts. So, all right, spirit. What else? Recent past spirit. What else? Yeah, spirit showing me you've moved on. And one of y'all, well, oh dear. I don't feel like either one of y'all were unfaithful. However, with that being said, spirit showing me that one of y'all do have a secret crush on someone. Because I have the secret love card here. So that could be the other reason why you couldn't make this marriage last, make it work. All right, spirit. Show me the present. Clarify, spirit. Yeah, I feel like both of y'all really suffered through this. I don't feel like this was an easy decision for either one of y'all to end this relationship. Stayed up late at night, really thinking about this through and through. But unfortunately, the current energy is showing me this love has died. That y'all were trying to remain hopeful, but y'all knew it was slipping away. So, all right, spirit. Now show me. What do you want me to do, spirit? Okay. I get the energy to someone. There was like interference. Third party interference, but it's not romantic. It's family or a friend that could have interfered with y'all being able to work things out. I almost pick up the energy of someone who had a buddy or a girlfriend that liked to go out and party. So instead of you being at home with your, significant other, your spouse, you were trying to keep your friend company and they were kind of like influencing you to go out and party, have a good time, have some drinks instead of staying at home. and trying to focus on rebuilding your marriage to hopefully make it work so y'all didn't, walk away from each other. All right, Spirit, now, where do you want me to go? Okay, let me find that deck. Okay. So when I get into, Spirit wants me to pull out for it to be clear to whoever this is for, that this is your reading. What else possibly contributed to your marriage, relationship ending? Show me, Spirit. Well, your significant other thought you gripe too much. Too negative would have been one of the reasons. And they also felt like you overreacted. Like you didn't know how to have a conversation with them either. So you would get really snappy is what I just heard. When they would say something, I even get just the mood swings of 1 minute you seem fine, but then the next minute they say something and it's nothing bad. It's just something simple, but it would make you snap. Like you just get real snappy with them, is what I'm picking up. All right, Spirit. What else contributed to this? Show me, Spirit. Show me. Clarify, Spirit. I feel like someone spent a lot of time online, and I pick up the energy instead of them again trying to talk with you, maybe because they struggle to have conversations with you, or vice versa, because of one of y'all getting too snappy, that they turn to social media, online, possibly even had some type of profile out there. So that added to the downfall of the marriage, but it's not the biggest portion of it. I still get the center of this is y'all got bored with each other. There was too much complacency. There was no more excitement. It's that the spark just went out. And neither one of y'all took the initiative to try and get that spark back before it completely went out. So I still don't feel like anyone actually cheated, but again, let me be clear. Full disclosure, my definition of cheating is the physical act. I don't believe cheating's an emotional, I mean, I understand, but I'm not type that thinks, if someone has a conversation or builds a friendship with someone that's cheating. I'm just not that person. So full disclosure. So when I say cheating, there was the physical act, whether, y'all kissed, y'all held hands, or did, the adult activity. So that's my idea of cheating. But spirits had shown me that there was nothing physical that happened. So even if someone was on there talking to someone, they didn't meet. So for whoever this is, if that's even been a concern or thought of yours, I want you to know Spirit's making it clear. They did not cross that line, okay? Not saying that, maybe for you, whoever this is for, that them, giving their time and attention to someone else when they should have been giving it to you is not hurtful. I get that. I understand that. Um, but if you want to know if it crossed the line to the physical, Spirit saying no. So what else, Spirit? And Spirit's over here confirming what I said about third-party interference. Not that this was romantic, but friends or family interfering, because one of y'all, if not both of y'all, were out there talking to people, friends, family. Spirit just even showed me a couple out there in the parking lot. It looked like some kind of restaurant, maybe a business, shopping center, restaurant, something like that, having a huge argument out in the parking lot in front of everybody with people watching y'all. So that played a factor into this too. Anything else, Spirit, before I get into why this is important? Besides that, the toxic energy and being immature is the other thing that contributed, which naturally, because not being able to communicate and such was a big issue. So, all right, Spirit. I want to know, why is this important, Spirit? Why does this person need to know this? Can we go there now? Okay, thank you. All right, now show me. Why is this important for this person to know this? Please and thank you. Show me, Spirit. Why is this important for them to hear this, Spirit? For you to be able to release the past, to let it go, so you can start over. The death card is all about those endings. It's all about change, letting go, transition. So in order to move forward, you can't have the past hanging around, carrying it around with you into your present or the future. So Spirit's saying this needs to be released now. And understandably, they know it's not going to happen overnight. It's still going to take time. It's still a process. It's like grieving a loved one who's passed away. You're grieving the end of a marriage. It's understandable. But they need you to know that if you feel, if you have any doubts or questions, is this really the answer? I feel like yes, because there's nothing there. I don't even feel like there's any support. I don't even pick up there's a steady foundation that, where y'all's marriage or relationship once stood on a very solid, happy, fulfilling foundation is not there anymore. In fact, Spirit just showed me like a crack in the ground in it, the earth separating. So there's nothing there. It's been disintegrated. This is what I'm being shown. So if there's doubts, if you're second guessing yourself, Spirit saying it's natural to second guess yourself, but allow yourself to kind of process it and digest it. But don't get all crazy. Allowing yourself to lose sleep, not be able to focus, not be able to, live your life, take care of your children if you have children, and be, engaging with, your family, friends, if you work, focus on your job, your career, your hobbies. Spirit's encouraging you to get out there, not go out there and date, okay? But they're encouraging you to really lean on your family and your friends, the people you can trust for that support. Because naturally, even when I feel like in the marriage, when y'all were still, in it, you just felt like you weren't supported. And I feel like part of that was the big portion of why, unfortunately, this marriage fell apart. No matter what happened, and I feel like, if we're talking about whoever this is who hears this, you getting snappy, Spirit saying yes, and it's understandable because of frustration, because again, it's like you weren't being heard. It's like your spouse was not listening to you, taking your feelings into consideration, your needs, your wants, um, any problems. They weren't there to help you find a solution for y'all to work on it together instead of, just leaving it all on your shoulders is what I get. So they're saying you still have family and friends to lean on. Maybe not many, and maybe not many that you would openly be able to allow yourself to be vulnerable with, to open up this way, to really go deep into, why your marriage ended, why, it didn't work. But whoever it is, lean on them. And Spirit's also saying, if you really need, you know, help, don't be ashamed to go to counseling. And I know there's such a stigma around that, okay? And I'm not any kind of medical professional, okay? This is for entertainment purposes only. But I'm saying to you, Spirit saying, seek professional help, okay? Don't allow it to eat you alive. Don't allow it to get you to rock bottom. Don't allow it to leave you stuck to where you just crawl up in a corner and just give up. Don't do that. And if you reach that point, then, I encourage you, don't just reach out to your family and friends for help and support, but reach out to a professional that can help, walk you through this too. And there's, I know I have a friend who's a licensed counselor, therapist, and like, you think of doctors, you have specialists that specialize in a specific area. There are counselors who do the same. So find a counselor that has, specializes in like family matters specifically, whether it's children, marriage, but find someone that, at least counsels married couples and even ones that unfortunately separate, and maybe there's now kids and trying to get the kids through, the separation and, having to adapt to, the changes. So, Spirit saying, do not be so prideful to not seek help. People don't have to know. If you really, worried about that, Spirit saying, it's nobody's business. That's between you, the therapist, and Divine, and your spirit team. Okay? Alright, Spirit. What else? They want to remind you you're going to prosper. You're going to come out of this again. Okay? It may not feel like it's going to be now, tomorrow, next week, or next month. Maybe not even next year. But you will come out of this. And you're going to thrive again. You're going to build something very solid. And I even feel like you're going to find your divine partner. When you're not looking for him or her, you're going to find them unexpectedly. Why I say that? Because I have both the King and the Queen of Pentacles. This is a couple right here. And this is a power couple. And this is not you and your ex or soon-to-be ex. This is future. So know that your person's out there. Spirit, what else? They don't want you to give up hope, thinking like you've lost your soulmate. We have more than one soulmate, is what Spirit said, which is true. And soulmate doesn't have to be romantic, okay? Soulmate is family and friends. It is your soul tribe family. Spirit, what else? I need you to believe in yourself again. And if there's something that you haven't been able to talk about, that you're holding some guilt or even shame about, maybe it's time to open up about it to your ex or whoever this person is. That's your choice. You know, if it involves them, you know, is it going to change anything? I don't feel like it will, but maybe it'll help you find some closure and some healing in the context of learning from this. Because Spirit's saying this is a learning. This is time for you to not just heal, but also learn. This is a time for you to take a look at what, you know, where your part in this, what you did wrong, but what you also did right, and vice versa. Hold yourself accountable just as much as you hold your partner accountable, your spouse. Hold yourself accountable to admit, you know, where you went wrong. And, you know, yeah, you mess up. Maybe you need to ask your, you know, spouse for forgiveness. But Spirit's saying it's more about also forgiving yourself. You know, forgiveness is not always about forgiving the other person. It's about forgiving yourself. Why? Because if you don't forgive yourself, you end up walking through life and you carry that trauma, that pain, that, you know, that wound. And it bleeds into your relationships. It'll affect all aspects of your life, whether you realize it or not in the moment, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. You may not be, but you'll find there'll be things that you do, things you say, your reaction, even triggers, and it'll hit that wound. So this is a time to be honest. You know, if it's truly over, well, it's not like, you know, if you go and you confess something to your spouse, like, you know, well, if you do one more thing, it's over. Spirit's saying that it's over. So, do you need to come clean, you know, just to clear your plate? Spirit's saying, yeah, it's like I'm picking that energy up. I'm picking the energy up of a lot of heaviness of guilt, shame, remorse, an unyielding type of energy that has me like, I feel like I want to like just um curl up, like tense on edge, like I can't relax. So I feel like this, by, you know, talking about this, it'll help, you know, take that burden off your shoulders so you'll be able to relax and not be so uptight. Because I feel like a lot of this is really eating you up to where you've been uptight. I just heard shameful. Maybe you feel it's shameful. Okay, it's not up to me to judge you. Doesn't matter, okay? That's not my job to judge, right or wrong. My job is to give you the messages from Spirit and how I can best help you in your path, your journey, and help you move forward, right or wrong. That's not my job, So if you would ever be afraid to say that to me or, and you don't know me, um, okay, maybe you might be shame, feel ashamed to, tell someone close to you that whatever this is, that's up to you, honey. You got to decide what's best for you. I can give you the messages, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide what's best for you. Because it's like what I tell everybody. You're the CEO of your life. You hire, fire, and promote accordingly to how you are treated. Because you teach people how to treat you. The way you love yourself is how others are going to love you. So just think about that too. I feel like it'll be a big, huge release off your shoulders, though, if you do open up about it. The choice is still yours. Uh, right or wrong. You got to do what's best for you, okay? And all of us, no matter who we are, we're all going to say something completely different. Some of us might agree, others are not going to agree, and that's okay. That's the way the world works. So don't feel like I'm going to throw stones at you. I'm not. I'm not that type person. All right. So know that things will slowly get better. And yeah, it might take a year or more, to find that light again, to light, the places in your life that feel dark, that feels like there's like this heavy cloud. And I just saw a big white spirit orb to the left of me. So that spirit coming through, loud and clear, confirming. It's like, I say to people, when you go through something in the moment, it feels like eternal hell. It's like going through the worst hailstorm or the worst, hurricane, we'll say. And it's like the storm's never going to end. It's not going to ever go away. It's not going to ever pass, but it will. Metaphorically and figuratively speaking, it will pass. The sun will always shine again. It's up to you to decide when it shines, though. Do you carry this dark cloud around and allowing it to get you stuck or allow you to feel like you're worthless, that you have nothing good to offer anyone, or you can't even be good to yourself? And I feel a sense of doubt, the sense of insecurity, that there seems to be this energy of not being able to trust yourself because of maybe some of the decisions you made that you have regrets about. It's like I feel I'm picking up on the energy of someone kicking themselves in the butt. Like, I can't believe I did that. Why did I do that? I'm so stupid. Stop telling yourself you're stupid. That's self loathing. Don't do that. Talk good to yourself. You may not feel like you deserve it right now, but you deserve it. And Spirit wants you to know you are unconditionally loved. You may not feel that way by everyone, but you are undoubtedly have unconditional love. Divine has unconditional love for you. Your angels have unconditional love. Your spirit guides have unconditional love. Your parents have unconditional love. And if you have children, same. So don't feel like you're not loved or cherished or cared for. And yeah, it may not be the way you want it. I understand sometimes we also go through things where, we can have all the friends and the family in the world, and they'll be there to, support us, talk with us and this and that, but it doesn't feel the same. It's not the same as having a romantic partner right there that can, comfort you in a way that your friends and family can't. I do get that too. But that's not a reason to be with anyone. And it's not a reason to settle just to have someone. next to you that you can say, okay, when you're going through, well, at least, I have so and so here and, I can crawl in their arms and cry, whatever. That's not a good reason. If you're not happy, you'll find more happiness eventually sleeping alone. It'll be peaceful. And it's not saying that life's not going to be hard. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to be easy. Nothing in life is easy. But I always tell people, it's always worth it though. Especially when you get through the hard times and you find the sunshine at the end of it, the rainbow. Even if it's brief, even if it's only for a little while, it's those moments that keeps us going. It energizes us. It refuels us. It reminds us why we're here. That life is worth living for. It's not worth giving up on, you know, for anyone, especially yourself. And Spirit definitely doesn't want you to give up on yourself. So make sure you're loving yourself, being good to yourself, taking care of yourself. Because I'm getting the energy of you're not taking care of yourself. You're eating bad. You're not drinking enough water. You're not getting enough sleep. And yeah, maybe you're not able to go out and exercise or do some of those things, but Spirit's saying find a way to, kind of, move around a little more. And it'll help, you'll feel better. It may not feel that way right away, but you'll start to feel better. But start caring more about yourself and taking care of your body. All right, Spirit. Okay. Deck. I should have known Spirit was going to ask me to use this deck. All right, Spirit. Show me. All right, Spirit. Spirit saying you need to tend to your home too. Maybe redecorate it. And, if you don't feel like redecorating it, maybe, just cleanse out the energy. Burn some sage or Palo Santo. And just ask your spirit guides and your angels to remove any negative energy that's lingering. My spirit wants you to don't gossip. Don't go around, talking about everything, Try and keep everything, between, you, your soon-to-be ex, and, maybe between, your family, they got to know, yes, but, and maybe a couple close friends, but don't go beyond that, is what Spirit's saying. You're just going to create yourself more trouble in the long run. So they want you to set some healthy boundaries. Set boundaries with yourself, but also set it for other people. So people know where you stand and they don't walk all over you. Because understand me, I understand. You know, when I don't set boundaries, oh, people will take from me. And they'll keep taking until there's nothing left of me. And, and I've, that's a lesson I've come to have to learn here recently, to be honest. And, my cup's empty right now. I really don't have anything to give because I've already given all I got to everyone else. And I don't mean, in a material way. I mean mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I've given all I got. And now it's time for people to pour into me in all ways, I just said. And, the time and energy that I put, into, helping people like this channel, it's like it doesn't get enough recognition. I feel neglected. I feel, people have taken advantage. I don't feel appreciated. So now I'm having to learn that lesson to really put up those boundaries. So, Spirit saying, put up those firm boundaries and don't back down from them. And yeah, it might upset some people, but it's only going to upset the people who feel like they just want to come in and take, and just treat you whichever way they, feel like they can treat you, like how it's always been. And now they don't know, how to act. So, the people who really care, they'll understand. Okay, it might take some adjustments, but, and, good communication, but they're not going to react. So just know the right people aren't going to get upset, and, with the people you currently have in your life. But going forward, too, set some healthy boundaries. All right, Spirit, what else? And remember, we're talking about forgiveness. Spirit's making that clear. Forgiveness is also for you. This is a big thing right here. Forgiveness is for you. Forgive others and yourself because your soul deserves peace. So when you can forgive others but also forgive yourself, you'll find a lot more peace and serenity. Like I said, that heavy load, that heavy burden you're carrying around, you'll drop it instantly. So you deserve forgiveness too. No matter what went wrong, how, you've treated people, in the past, apologize. Maybe you can't apologize to everyone. Maybe you can't, reach out to them, but, tell Spirit, that you're sorry, okay? And forgive yourself and, ask them for help for you to find forgiveness if you feel like it's something that you need in order to find that peace. But still, it's about you forgiving yourself too. All right, Spirit, what else? The last thing Spirit wants to remind you, like I said, taking care of yourself as far as your nutrition, eating right, drinking right, exercising, and make a to-do list so you can get more done. Stay organized. That way you don't get as distracted. Okay. All right, Spirit, what else? I think I might have that deck down there. right, Spirit. All right, Spirit. Show me. Alright, Spirit asked me to pull this card from one of my other Oracle decks. I haven't used this deck in forever. Okay. Let's see. This is called Hungry Hearts. Awaken the True Song. And it says, Dear heart, I know you hunger for the most profound depth, intensity, passion, juiciness, and divine ecstasy. You want to taste and embody all that love entails, and you desire to feel all your layers of protection melt and to be truly seen and held by another. You want to be appreciated for all of you, the beautiful and the painful. You want someone to support you through your unprocessed trauma with gentle kindness and compassion. All of this is possible, my darling heart. You have been starved of genuine affection, kindness, and gentleness, and I am now ready to truly see, listen, and treat you with utmost respect and kindness so you can heal. I want to help you awaken the true song of your heart and your ability to befriend and learn from all your feelings. This will create a wholeness and stability within your being where you can develop concentration, self reflection, steadfastness, and an intimate self knowingness. This is Spirit reminding you all the things you're missing that they're trying to guide you through and allow you to waken that up, within yourself. This is pretty much like a love letter from your higher self. So, I know sometimes it's hard to give ourselves, that affection, that kindness, that gentleness, but even to lean on others to give that to us too, especially when we need it, and yeah, sometimes, you get starved of affection. It's exactly why, I was saying about it's one of those things when, you can have friends and family to lean on, support you, and it's great to have them. I'm not, um, making it seem like, they're not important or, they don't matter. They do. But then you find that there's that other part. It's like, but I need a romantic partner to fill the other part of me, that I'm missing, that only a romantic partner can fill. Instead of worrying about, that romantic partner being able to fill that, give it back to yourself. Is what Spirit wants to remind you of. And when you're ready, to find love again, it's going to find you instead. And you'll be amazed. The time you're not looking for love, when you least expect it, is when you find it. It's happened to me countless times. And it always seemed to be the right time, you know. Um, like I'll share with you about when after my mother passed away when I was 19. And I was devastated. I remember I just wanted to die, really. Not that I would, take my life. I would never ever do that, but I will tell you I welcome death. And my family could not be there for the same reason I couldn't be there for them. They were grieving my mama just the same way as I was. My siblings, my daddy, my grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins and, so on. So when you think you can lean on each other, you really can't because, they're feeling it too. So it kind of left this hole. I felt I needed someone in my life then that didn't know my mama, um, but could understand, you know, what I was going through, what I was feeling. And I did have someone that had been in a relationship with on and off. And, the only thing I could say about it is, they weren't the one for me. And, they just said something that I still can't believe to this day about, when I called them up and, because they lived, 3,000 miles away from me at the time. And I remember I told them, about my mama passing away. And instead of them offering me words of encouragement, sympathy, whatever, you would think you would say to your significant other, the only words that came out of his mouth is, "It's time for you to come home." What? And that ended that relationship. And I hung up. Couldn't believe it, you know? So even though I had a romantic partner, they weren't physically here. But even, mentally and emotionally, they weren't there, that by that reaction itself. So I struggled for a little while. And then about 8, 9 months later, after my mom passed away, been gone, I ended up meeting someone who I ended up marrying. And I was not looking, did not want anyone. And, I remember, even thinking to myself, it's like, oh God, if he comes, near me, like, what am I going to do? Because I was in a place that I love, pool hall. I shoot pool semi-professionally, and I did not want to leave. I was just there at the bar, just playing this, little screen arcade game and hanging out, you know. I didn't want to necessarily be there, but I didn't want to go home either, But being there was better than me going home. So I stayed there. But after I was done, hanging out with my friends, shooting pool, sat up there and, was playing a game, and then here he comes. So I had a decision. I could either stay and have to deal with him, or I could leave. I just couldn't leave. I didn't want to go home. So started talking. What do you know? Come find out. He lost his father when he was 18 years old. So he could relate to me in a way that nobody else in my life could relate to me outside of my family. And that helped me a lot. It helped me to grieve. And I felt safe because I felt like I could actually, it was okay for me to feel whatever I felt. I felt finally free, given the permission, really, in essence. If I wanted to crawl in my bed and cry for 3 or 4 days and not talk to a single soul, it was okay. I didn't have to give him an explanation. He would already understand and wouldn't question it, you know, and wouldn't try and get me, to stop crying or whatever, allow me to feel what I felt. And that's what I needed. So he did help me through that. So I get Whenever you go through certain things in life, it's hard, where you feel like, okay, yeah, I got friends, I got family, but I still need that person by my side, that could be the person that my friends and family can't be. I get it. I do. But Spirit's saying right now, you need to be that for yourself first. Because again, you can't go into any new relationship romantically and be able to be your best self, give your best self to them, and, um, and give your heart even without, feeling like you're going to end up on the rebound. And that's the risk. That's a chance. And, you don't want to go getting caught up even in just say, oh, we'll just have some fun, what people call or refer to today as friends with benefits. Okay, I don't understand that either, but okay. Even that, don't put yourself in that. You're worthy of so much more. I don't know you. Like I said, I don't know who this is for, but whoever this is for, I want you to know you're worthy of so much more. Don't allow anyone to devalue you. And let me tell y'all something, I find it crazy how people go out there and talk about people even like me, who are celibate. And, and I remember it was just in recent months. Some crazy guy comes on my stream and talking about, when I was talking about how my parents raised me and, to not go lay down with just anybody. There had to be a strong emotional connection there. There had to be love between both of us, And that's what I still believe to this day. And I had someone come in here one night and tell me, oh, well, that's just boring. I don't care. I'll be proud to be boring. I'd rather be boring and value myself, have my worth, and know that not just any guy can walk up to me and take me behind closed doors. It's not going to happen. I've never been that way. Never will I ever be that way. So don't do that to yourself. Hold yourself much higher. Appreciate yourself. And the right person will come along and they'll appreciate you for that much more. That'll be something that, it seems like in the world we live in today, it seems rare. I don't know why, but that's the world we live in today. So don't lower your standards. That's what Spirit's saying. Don't go, crawling in the bed with someone just because, you need that physical touch. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth devaluing yourself, and it's only going to give you what? Comfort for what? A few minutes, an hour, a night, You have so much more. And there's so much more to you than just your physical. It's your mental, your emotional, your spiritual. Who you are on the inside. The outside, it's just a shell. That's how I see it. What matters is you on the inside. So learn to love yourself on the inside. And whether people can appreciate you on the outside or not, that's their problem. They don't have to appreciate you, but you should appreciate you and value and love you, no matter what you look like. And the heck with what everybody else says, what they think. I just, I'm the type of person I don't care. I don't care what other people think. I don't care what they say. It's like my parents always told me. Doesn't matter what other people say or what they think. Okay, they can go through and do this all day long. Does that make what they say true? No. And that's exactly what my parents always told me. Why am I going to allow someone, whether I know them or not, um, hold that kind of weight in my life, that kind of power over me to decide, if I'm good enough or righteous enough or whatever. And especially if they're going over there talking nonsense, that's not true. No, it the heck with them. I ignore it. So that's what you gotta learn how to do. Ignore the noise. It's not worth it. It's not worth getting wrapped up in the drama either. And that's what Spirit needs you to hear. You know, I feel like for whoever this is, like Spirit's worried about you going out there and getting a little crazy. So, okay, don't get mad at me. I'm just the messenger. So, learn to value yourself in your heart and give it to someone who's worthy of it, who's going to love you and appreciate every ounce of you, good, bad, and everything in between. So, all right, Spirit. Yes. Okay. Spirit. Show me, Spirit. No. I forgot about this card. And I don't think a better card could have jumped out that Spirit has for whoever you are. No, I haven't handled this deck in a long time either, but I remember this card. A spiritual hug. It says too much of one thing and not enough of another. People pulling at you and constantly wanting something from you. This type of experience will leave you feeling depleted and in need of balance. This is the time to sit in quiet meditation and ask your spirit guide if you may have a spiritual hug. Just one spiritual hug will recharge your battery and fill you with renewed strength to take back into your life. Your guide is there for you even when you feel that others are not. Remember, they aren't only there to push you forward, but also to hold you when you need it. And, that's beautiful. So, babes, whoever you are, your spirit team is giving you a spiritual hug. Know that. Know that they're embracing you. They know, again, that this is not, an easy thing to go through. And you may feel like you're so alone, like no one's there, no one understands, no one cares. They care. And I get, it's, even for someone like me who's, has the psychic gifts that I do, it doesn't mean I always get to see ghosts walking around my house and, talk and this and that. Um, there's many times that, even I wish, sometimes that, my parents would appear, but they don't. And there's many reasons to that. And that's a whole nother conversation that I'm not going to even get into, but just know that I get, you know, okay, a spiritual hug. What does that mean? Will you feel it? All you got to do is close your eyes in quietness, even turn off the light and just ask your spirit guides to come forward, give you that hug. And then you decide for yourself. Can you feel it? Can you feel their love? Can you feel their vibration in the room? Do you see the messages they send? in your environment around, whether you're at home or out in public, they will send you signs if you're just open to receiving them. They send them to me often, and there's times that I've overlooked them, and I didn't even realize it until after the fact, and it's like, oh, duh, Amanda, hello, because I'm distracted, right? So take the time and talk to them. But also, Spirit's telling me, if you need an outlet, if you don't have a diary journal already, start one and write to yourself. Even think of yourself, 5, 10 years from now. What would you tell yourself 5, 10 years from now? But also write, this process of this healing you're having to go through. It's a huge change. I get that. I get it's life changing. And yeah, I get it's not easy. But it's not the end of the world either. And that's what Spirit wants to remind you of. There's tomorrow and the next day. It may not feel like that, you know. You may even have those moments that you just, want it to end. It's like, man, I would just love for, me to go and lay down and close my eyes and not wake up. I could relate to that too. Like I said, when my mama passed away, nope, I would never take my own life. But at the same time, I remember even pleading with God, go ahead and take me. I'm ready. I want to be with my mama. Take me now. I did say that, of course. Didn't do it, you know, thankfully, but in the moment, because my pain, I just wanted to be with my mama. So I get, the need of having someone physically there. It's not the same as, when you have, your spirit guides, your angels, past over loved ones, and, maybe you have a gift or two, and maybe you can pick up on them like I can. But yeah, can you reach out and actually physically touch them like you can another human being? No, I get that. But, I would hope that, they would allow you to feel them, because I can tell you that I've had my loved ones come through and touch me. I've been touched by, them several times, and it's comforting. And no, I still can't like reach out, like grab their hand and hug them, but I could feel them touch me. I could feel them hug me. I could feel them touch my face. I could feel them kiss my forehead. I could feel them stroke my hair. I could feel them rub my back. So I have felt them. Sometimes it's just saying it, telling them, like, I just need to feel you. Just, touch my face. Let me know you're here. I just need to know I'm not alone. Even though you tell yourself and deep down, it's like, you're not alone. But because you're the only one in the room, you still feel like you're alone. It's understandable. But you're not. You'll never, ever be alone. And that's the biggest message Spirit's saying they want to bring through. And I just saw a bunch of spirit orbs together. And they're showing me, it's like they're wrapping their arms around you in a complete circle. And so you're part of that circle. Many layers of love, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, support. They're there. Just ask for their help. But you got to invite them. They're not just going to come in without you inviting them. And when you do, and when you're ready, they'll let you know. They'll give you those signs, synchronicities, things that, you just can't explain. It may seem like coincidence, but that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like coincidence, but it's not coincidence. There's several stories that, I've shared on here. I've recorded a couple of videos, yes, but there's others, and even some I haven't shared, where they have given me all kinds of signs out in the open. I'm not talking about, I'm the only one that can hear their voice or feel them, seeing something physical that lets me know, or hearing something, or watching something. It's those signs. And you'll find yourself, it's like in those moments where you're not looking for it, but suddenly you're out somewhere, and I'll just use, um, my mom as an example. She sends me songs, and I'll be in the grocery store and hear an old song that you don't hear on the radio anymore, but suddenly it's playing in the grocery store. And then I get in my car, hear another song. It might be a song that plays on the radio, but it's not a song that you hear all the time. But it's coincidence. I'm in the grocery store, I hear one song, and then 10 minutes later, I get in my car and I hear another song. And then, I remember that day, it was like about, I think another 10 minutes went by, I heard another song. She was talking to me, and I knew that. And she came through later when I was more aware of my gift, and she let me know that was her. So I know that. So it's something like that. And, you might go looking around and thinking, oh, I'm going crazy. What am I doing? You know what? People think I'm crazy. Oh, well, I don't care. They're not me. They're not living my life. They're not having my experiences to ever understand. And who are they to judge? And it's like, even with religious people, I sit there and it's like, oh, really? I didn't know you died today and somebody made you God. Really? That kind of energy. Don't worry about what other people say. Don't worry about what they think. The only thing that matters is what you think about yourself. That's the most important thing first. Everyone else comes, after. So Spirit wants you to know they're holding you. They're guarding you, watching over you, protecting you, helping you find your way again. Find that light. Because they want to see the light shine in your eyes again. That's what they just said. They want to see that glow in your aura, in your essence. They said it's hypnotizing. So you have, whoever I'm picking up on, they're describing you like you have this big bubbly personality. And you have a laugh that's infectious. It's your laugh that people, can't get enough of. That type of energy. When was the last time you laughed like that? That's what they want to hear from you. They want to hear your laughter like that because it makes them laugh too. And they're over there laughing with you. I can even tell you, it's like, for me, my daddy, there's times that I act so much like him, and I'll go through and I'll say something he used to say to me when I was growing up. And I'll sit here, even on this stream, and I've done it many times, like, oh my gosh, I'm acting just like my daddy. And the next thing, my daddy's over here laughing at me. He gets a kick out of it. So I get that, and it makes me feel good, because my daddy sees, me acting just like him. And I'm not his biological child, but he raised me since I was 3, 4 years old. That's daddy to me. I was lucky to have 2 dads. So my real dad was in my life too, but daddy, raised me most of my life. Um, and I do. There's a lot of things I do just like him, think just like him, act just like him at times. It's pretty funny. So he gets a kick out of it. So you will get through this. Whoever this resonates for, whoever you are, whoever's energy I'm picking up on, it will get better in time. Just like that song by Leona Lewis. If you don't know it, I would encourage you to look it up. Type it in YouTube. Ask them, type in the lyrics, and as the song plays, the words will come across screen so you can read the words as you're listening to the song, so you can digest it better. And it might, you know, hit home and resonate. But it will get better in time. Alright, I'm going to pull this angel card and there's one other card. I can think of it. Where'd it go? My deck. My luck, it's probably over there on my door. Or buried underneath the gazillion decks I got over here. Alright, Spirit. It's a message, Spirit. Please and thank you. Oh, I love it when Spirit confirms. How I was saying about look for the signs. That's exactly what they're saying right here. Hold on. I might have that one deck over here I was thinking of. No, that's not it. Oh, you know what? I think it's from this. Recognize the signs from above. Angels are sending you messages now, but you're too distracted to notice. Stay alert and open to divine guidance. Recognize the signs from above. Spirit's confirming exactly what I was saying to you just now. They are sending you signs, but you're missing them. So just be more mindful of your environment, and you'd be surprised. They'll send you plenty when you least expect it to. Alright, a couple of these messages. I'm going to end it. Spirit. Closing messages, please, and thank you. Alright, Spirit. Let me find something to use as an arm stool. Make it your mission to accept all parts of you, the good, and what you perceive to be your imperfections. Don't look for any outside validation. It's already within you. Excuse me. Once you realize your true beauty and potential, you will never doubt yourself again. Another confirmation. The Spirit's confirming what I was just saying just a few minutes ago. Only look to validate yourself. Don't look for others to do it. Love yourself for you. What else, Spirit? Show me, Spirit. Thank you. You are so much closer to a powerful breakthrough than you may realize. You have been praying for things to heal, new opportunities to appear, relationships to improve, and these prayers will be answered soon. They're listening. If you're wondering, are your prayers being heard? Yes. And they're answering them. You know, I feel like we many times go through and we feel like our prayers aren't getting answered for those of us who pray. But, I have a different way of looking at it. I feel like divine always answers. It's just the answers that we get is not always the answers we want or the answers we like. So just know that your prayers are getting answered, but it may not turn out the way you had hoped or had envisioned it would. So you are being heard. They always listen. Every single word, they hear you. And it does not matter whether you speak it out loud, you write it on a piece of paper, you type it on a, computer screen or phone, or you just think it. They get all of it. Doesn't matter how you say it. They hear you. That goes for divine, spirit guides, angels, and passed over loved ones. They all receive it the same way. So don't ever guess, or doubt, that they can't hear you, because they can. And they see all that happens around you and everything you're going through. So, all right, my beautiful people. Yeah. I'm going to shut it down now. So, whoever this was for, I hope this message finds you. And just know that I don't have to know you to care. And I'll be thinking about you. And I'm sending you so much love and healing light your way. Take it one day at a time. It will get better gradually. And yes, I know it may not happen overnight, but it will get better in time. Stay positive. Stay focused. Find a hobby, something that you love, that you can invest your time in to get your head out of, focusing on, your relationship ending or anything else that might be going wrong in your life or you feel is going wrong. Put your time and energy in there, and it'll keep you busy so you don't get lost or feel like you're not getting lost. And before you know it, you may be found again by the next person you're meant to be with. It's wild how those things happen, but they do happen that way. So, okay, my beautiful people. I'm tired. I'm wiped out. So, yeah. I'm going on about 30, 31 hours I've been up. So, so I'm going to get off here, beautiful people. Thank you for joining me. I'll be here Wednesday night. The stream won't be live, but if you want a personal reading, you would have to send your payment to one of my payment apps, the options I have listed, and then your email and your chat name, so I can add you to the list. I plan on trying to start stream by 9 o'clock, but if not 9 p.m. Eastern, it'll be 10 p.m. And I'll have a list. It'll only be the people who pay for a reading that'll be in the chat in the live stream. So it'll be semi-private, but it will get posted later for everyone else to watch who are curious and want to watch it. So if you're interested, I'll be doing that Wednesday. And then Friday, because it's Halloween, I'll do the same thing. Um, so just so y'all know. Um, but I'm gonna say goodnight, and I'm gonna wish y'all well and send y'all away with love and light and all the wonderful blessings and the beauty that this life has to offer. Until next time. Good night, beautiful people.